ladies and gentlemen, to Slack Taxi's training and instructional video on the bouncer setup. We're at a secret location in South Australia to bring you this video. Okay, so first of all, we're just going to talk through all the parts you should have for one bouncer set. You'll have 3 car inner tubes, you'll have 3 balls, you'll have a small, medium and a large, hopefully. And then on here you'll have sets of straps and things that will be in the suitcase provided. But first of all, we'll just talk about the tubes. Basically, you don't need them up very big. They don't need to be overly tight. I find, or you can see by my grip there, it's quite small. They can go much bigger. But if you go too big with them, it makes it harder to do the rolls, so try and keep them fairly small, just a little bit firm. So you'll find the valve caps inside the bag. Pop them on. If for some reason you lose the valve caps, there'll be some duct tape, and just put duct tape there just so it doesn't scratch onto the balls. When you set them up, it's just neater and easier if you have it face up. Yeah. You have the pins always face straight down into the tube. Sometimes these will move around in a set like that. It's not too much of a worry. Most of the pins fit very well, but as a precaution, you'll see there's tape lines there. We normally put tape over them as well, just in case the pins are slightly the wrong size. But just make sure it doesn't fall out in the set and you lose your air. So they sit in the tubes like that. So normally when I set up, I get all the tubes inflated, caps on, all the balls inflated, and I place them all out like so. That's right, so the bum ball, you'll notice, will have the pattern on it. That's a stronger grade ball than the others. You can use the others if for whatever reason you broke them, but they just don't last as long. They tend to break a lot quicker. With the ball inflation, the bum and the belly ball want to definitely be fairly firm. Not real tight, but fairly firm. You can't have them too soft. The back shoulder one isn't as important, but again, you generally do it up fairly firm. You want to be able to press a little bit, but you want some resistance, but just don't keep going forever with the inflation. If you inflate the balls too big, you can still do it, but it makes the tricks very difficult. And again, after you set them up, do a few rolls and practice it, you'll know what I mean. If you play around with the sizes of the balls in a practice, you'll know exactly what I mean by the bigger they are, the harder it gets to do. What I do from that point on is I grab the straps. Now we've got 3 different kinds just to make life confusing, but it's pretty straightforward. So we've got one set has 5 straps on it, and the one that has 5 cables on it is only for the bum ball, the big ball. So I just place that on top. And then you have 2 sets of 4, and they only have the 4 on it. One is short and one is long. I don't know if you can see that.
Yep.
One is short, one is long. The short one goes on the smallest ball, which will be our shoulder ball. The long one goes on our belly ball. Now, there's rubber plugs. They do fall in and out, which is a little bit of a pest, but basically what these do is they stop these straps from fraying on concrete, and these will just wear straight through and snap, maybe even within half an hour if you don't have them on. Now, as far as what happens from here, the way you know it's the correct way up is that you have a short piece with the little loop that always faces up, like so. If you have it the other way and it's underneath, you can't tie them up. So you have that way, the little bit's facing up. On the 4-strap ones, they just get done evenly like so. And then on the 5-strap one, you just space them out evenly, like so as well. Okay, so normally there will be a spare strap or set or two of these. I'm going to do one up completely, and it's the same process for all of them, and they'll probably be fast forwarded in the edit anyway. Generally, before a gig as well, I would allow, if the balls are already inflated in your car and you're just doing all the straps and everything, I would allow an hour extra. So say your gig's at midday, I would say you'd want to normally about an hour cool time of 11, just in general for a gig, and then I would allow an extra hour for setup. So if I had a midday gig and I was setting them up on site, I'd definitely get there at 10. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. So all we do is we put the strap down and through under the ball, come back up, and what I do first of all is just, and this just works like a backpack loop, go up and then back down, and through the, like so, and I just go quite loose, spin it, and basically I just set them roughly in place first, not getting them tight at all. Yeah. Lucky last, number 4, down and through, like so. Now, then I straighten the ball because it always moves a bit, and the straighter you get this now in your first setup, is the less adjusting you have to worry about during sets. So then what I do is I just work around trying to get this tighter. Lucky love. Yeah. Okay, so it's not as tight as you can, but it's definitely quite firm. I could obviously pull that tighter, but then it's going to disform that ball a lot more. That's basically it, but from there we've got leftover dangly strap, and you just go under and up, under and up. This is the easiest way to tidy up the straps. Just go under and through.
So you find that the ball stays in all right if you don't get it any tighter than that, Scoot?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
Because I probably have
Go a bit tighter again.
gone a bit tighter, but yeah, let the guys
particularly
see how
the
they
shoulder
go.
ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, the shoulder ball doesn't get used that much and doesn't get thrown around sideways that much. The belly ball probably gets the biggest hammering, I think.
You also got to watch that you don't get a strap too close to that that air valve, because it just could damage that. So I've got all them on firm without tightening while I put them on, but then I'd flip it over onto its side and really pull it through, because sometimes that underneath one can have slack on it. If you just tighten the top one, you can still have slack on that, and as soon as you start performing, that loosens off. So I pull the top one and just get it through and get it tight. And actually, you don't want to leave it for days like this, but I can do it, you know, a few hours before or the day before, leave it that tight. So that's how tight, if you don't want the ball to slip out while you're performing. And then just the same.
I'd make the point as well that if you set the balls up in hot weather and then the next morning you go to get them, you'll notice that they've somehow deflated or shrunk a little bit. So it's probably best to set them up on the day of the gig.
So that's the front ball. Now,
Okay, so we got three items really to strap the balls together. You have a harness, which is the most confusing bit. You have a little strap to tie two balls together. The balls you tie together are the bum,
no, that's
the shoulder ball and the bum ball. Now, what I do is some people, you might do this different, Jen, but what I do is I always strap right next to another strap on the bum ball, and I center with the pin closest to the ball.
Yeah.
So you got your small one for your shoulders, your big bum ball. Both tubes are facing up. Just run that through the tubes like so, under both tubes. And then just try and feel that's not sitting very flat, but doesn't really matter.
There's only one way that those little buckles can go that it actually holds.
Yeah.
So they just got to work that out.
Yeah, just like a backpack. Then I just do the same thing, just get rid of the extra length so it doesn't dangle around during the set. Like that. Okay, so then that's a bum and shoulder ball. Then you got your belly ball. But, okay, the harness. Now this is the most confusing bit. So I'll try and explain it clearly. So, okay, that one's not got that stop bit. Might have to grab a bit of duct tape to make sure that does. Depending on your size, boys and girls, that you'll probably have it about there. What I do with this, some of them have that sewn over, and they generally don't slip out. But also you want to keep that tight for any movement. So I have mine right on the maximum, but you just duct tape's your best friend. But, I just tape the end so it can't fall back through. Right, so
that's for the bit around your waist.
yeah, that's for the bit around
and then you've
your
got
waist.
two bits that go over your shoulders.
So yeah, well that's sort of, you can sort of see it there. You've got three loops there. You've got one loop that goes around your waist and then two that go over your shoulders. The easiest way to do it is you unclip everything and you find your two bits. Your waist loop always stays together at this point. Don't undo that one. You just undo the two longer ones, which go over your shoulders. And then you want that part of the buckle. So not the bit, the female end, not the male end of the buckle. So you got those two. here's how it works.
So they go up through the front ball.
Yeah, so what I do is have a look at it. I make out I'm facing with that buckle at the front, because that's where you clip in and out of. If you do get it backwards, if you're with someone else, you could clip it there if you did get it wrong. But
It'll hurt your back too. With the
it'll
buckle.
it'll be annoying. So basically, you want to get that buckle to the front, holding the two loops, looking exactly like that. Then you go through the tube. These can be, definitely don't want your gloves on trying to set these up. You're going to be able to push them through. Can be a little bit of an effort trying to squeeze it through there. And you want to get these flat in there. You don't want to twist in them. So now you have your two straps through your belly ball. That's your middle size ball, with those ends poking up through the front like that. From there, we've got the two other kinds now. To make life a bit easier, I extend them out a little bit. So you just got a bit more strap to play with while setting up. I've got that backwards anyway. Now, you're only going to strap these through the shoulder ball, the smallest ball. Ignore the bum ball, even though it's there. I go through either side of that center strap and in between the other two. That's why I line the center strap up there. It just keeps it straighter when you're doing the sets. So you poke these through. Same thing, they can be a bit of work to get all the way through. Exactly the same as the belly ball. You just go all the way under like that. Through. So yeah. When packing these down, I find with the tubes and even the balls to a certain degree, but the tubes definitely deflate and roll all the air right out. Put the valve back in. In the tube here, guys, there's a valve. There's a special little tool. You'll see it. Looks weird. You'll see one like this, or sometimes they're slightly bigger and different, but they got the little end like that.
Yeah.
So with the valve, take it out. Just turn it anti-clockwise. Valve comes out. What I do is I get all the air out and then I put the valve back in.
Yeah, then you won't lose
It
it.
stops it inflating in your bag as well. Means you have more space.
Yeah, great.
So then I put it back in at the end. Once it's all the way down and you've got all the air out that you possibly can. So then it packs down nice and small.
Yeah.
The same is somewhat true for the balls, but I tend not to worry, they tend to stay pretty flat.
Right. All right, I think that's pretty all self-explanatory then. So everything will just go back in reverse of the way it all got put together and packed up, and put all the little bits away so you don't lose them. And thank you, Scoot.
Hey, no
Thank you
worries.
for that training video.
Thank you, team.
Really appreciate it. Slack Taxi thanks you.
Enjoy it out there in the bounces. It's a fun set to do, guys. It's the best reaction I've had for anything roving. Really is one of the most fun sets to do out there, and people just love it. So yeah, enjoy. Yep.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.